Hey, hello, you're Psych Trap with Wolf Gorlock. A few minutes riffing on IT and IT security. Today, looking at what we can learn from the Forever 21 breach. If you haven't heard of Forever 21, it's probably because you got some gray hair like me. It is a clothing store, very popular among the late teen, early 20s set, and it was recently breached. So, tip one for you is if you or your kids, and we'll get back to kids in a moment, go to Forever 21 and have been there earlier this year, earlier 2017, read up on it, check your credit card, make sure you weren't caught up on it. Tip number two is if you are in charge of payment cards, here's a great lesson to learn about what not to do. So we're going to talk about that first, and then I'll come back to what it means for kids to be caught up on this, right? So what not to do. Apparently, the encryption broke. Now, when we were talking the other day about failing like an escalator versus failing like an elevator, right? When I was talking about credit cards and chip and pin, failing like an escalator meaning if it breaks, the user can keep working, as opposed to failing like an elevator, which it stops, right? The nice thing about failing like an elevator is that you, the user, you, the security administrator, know, hey, that's not right. there's a problem. Stop the presses. This is a concept also known as fail closed, which means if it fails, it's closed, it doesn't work, can't move forward. Fail open means it fails and yet still works and you don't necessarily get any indication of it. Fail open is more like an escalator. Fail open is what happened here with respect to Forever 21. The credit card machines, which were supposed to be doing encryption and tokenization, stopped encrypting and tokenizing. They don't really know why. And when it stopped doing that, they didn't detect it. And it was not encrypting for a period of time. And during that period of time, it seems that attackers most likely had access to that data. So, always be on the lookout for when your controls break. Having an assertion that you have a control is great. Having an assertion that you test that control and have information back when it doesn't, even better. There's a very loud car alarm going off behind me. So, that's one. Two, all right. Why is this sucks? This sucks, one, because all of us parents who have given their credit cards to their kids are now caught up in the breach. But that's not the worst of it. The worst of it is something else. See, if our credit cards get caught up, there's plenty of rules in place. There's plenty of fraud detection in place. If someone does a fraudulent charge, you can contest it, right? You can block having to pay that money. Now, the worst of it is teens, the very same patrons that are most likely to go to Forever 21, oftentimes use their debit cards. And debit cards have a much less level of protection. As a matter of fact, arguably, depending on how you're set up, if someone gets a hold of your debit card and completely empties out your account, not a whole lot you can do to get that money back. Once it's gone, it's gone. Now, there are some things, but my point remains the same. The least likely payment or least secure payment method available, debit cards, are also the most likely payment card to be used by people who were swept up in Forever 21, which is really quite sad. So if you're dealing with populations that you know already don't have security controls or are already in a disadvantaged state, man, come on. Double check for fail open, fail closed, and do what you can to protect those cards. What about you? Were you caught up in this breach? Do you have any insight into how you would know if tokens are no longer tokenizing? Comment, social media, hit me up.